Stuart, a relatively new pro to the scene and incredibly talented upstart, has just shocked the league with a fantastic showing at the Season 8 World Championships with the Solar Scarabs. Now, looking to harness that momentum, we move into Season 9.
When I first started teaming with Stu in Season 8, it was his rookie year, so it was just like this pretty raw talent that was mechanically just insane at the game, and you just had to get him to a point where if you and him got on the same page, good things were going to happen.
When I was in I think it was like the beginning of the Scarabs, when Scream and I joined, I think it was like more of like a building phase, so I didn't really mind being 7th or like 8th, because I think the 8th, the Vox were 8th, but it was more of like a building phase, and it was just like me getting into the league, so I didn't really mind being 8th or 7th or wherever we were. Oh, I think for the most part, everyone was happy. There definitely was arguments. It's a competitive scene, so like they're gonna happen, but it was just all in like a competitive spirit. It wasn't like any bad blood or anything.
I think after Phase 1 ended, our confidence had kind of diminished a lot.
Let's go down the mid lane, by the way, real quick. Oath wins them the game and will make sure that the Eldritch Hounds knock the SPL team, Solar Scarabs, out of the running.
No longer were we able to see each other's point of views. It was mostly just, I'm right, you're wrong. And obviously, in a team environment, that's not going to be good. So slowly, scrims kept getting worse and worse. SPL's not doing any better. And then losses pile up. Scrims aren't going well.
Solar Scarabs on that base defense just looking like roadkill, steamrolled by the Jade Dragons.
Yeah, everything kind of just blows up in your face at that point.
After spending the entire year stuck in 7th place with the Scarabs, Stuart received an offer for one of the top teams, a contender for the World Championship.
Yes, so I don't know how much like in detail I should go on Cyclone being kicked from the Titans, but for the most part, it was just like the team environment was bad for a couple of the players, and they wanted change, so it's kind of like an ultimatum kind of deal, and they thought it was better to go without him, and it'd be like easier for them just to pick up me, I guess.
Yeah, so Sot and Layers were not loving our scrim environment, so they both, I mean, everybody, it wasn't just them, like as a collective 5, everybody felt that the environment was off and people really wanted to change. Like Sot was like, I don't want to keep playing if scrims are going to be like this, basically. And Layers was struggling with some other things outside of SMITE, and not having a good environment on top of that was making it really rough for him. They were like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this if it's going to keep going like the way it is.
I thought it was pretty obvious that the Titans were having a team environment issue, and it was kind of the battle of two sides, because now you look at this team, it's obviously the players that were there and that are no longer there.
So Sop played with Stu the year prior on the Scarabs, and they got along really well, and he said Stu's just a really good teammate and you can get along easy with him, and he's kind of like, you can plug him in and play and it'll be good.
I don't even think some of the players wanted to swap, to be honest, but it wasn't that bad. Like I didn't have like it was just like come in and play well. I kind of knew like it would be like a building phase a little bit, but I was confident like pretty much for like the tournaments and stuff.
The Titans, now with Stuart, had to make another change to their roster at a crucial time. Just days before the Phase 3 SMITE Masters and Worlds qualification match, an admin decision is made that ruled Layers unfit for competitive play. With only a few weeks of practice with Stuart, now the Titans found themselves without a jungler.
That situation was just messy with Layers and Cyclone, both of them leaving in the span of 2 weeks or whatever it was.
With the way Layers left the team, it was a bit unlucky because it was literally like a couple days before I think it was a Masters or something, that he decided that he wasn't going to come at all, and it was just pretty unlucky. It was understandable from his point of view, but I think maybe things could have been communicated a little better.
But there is a new jungler here for the Titans. Layers out, Sino in for the event and for presumably the rest of the year.
Like having to replace Layers with Sino at the end, like prior to the LAN for qualification for Worlds, it was definitely rough. It was definitely frustrating, really frustrating.
I mean, if I'm the captain of that team and kind of like one of my best friends is the ADC, We've been through it for whatever it is, 5, 6, 7 seasons, however many times or years they've been playing, and then you make this change for someone else, and then they end up dropping out a little bit later. Like, it's probably gonna hurt for a little bit. It's gonna be something where you're just kind of angry, gonna be a little peeved.
Honestly, I thought it was the end. Like, I didn't think we'd be teaming again. Like, I shouldn't say that. Like, the way I am, I don't really think about the future that much. So like this is my life now. Like, this is what's happening. Like, I wasn't really thinking like, oh, next year I'm just gonna play with him again. Like, I'm playing with Stu now. Like, this is what it is, regardless if I like it or not. And I really enjoyed it. I feel like we did really well towards the end of the year, making that run. Things changed like after the season and stuff like that, but I definitely thought it was the end for sure.
Going into Worlds, you're at a point where it's kind of up to the players at that point is how they take it. And I think Sino is probably one of the best answers to have for that team, because Sino does not care.
It's a double kill for Sino and the Titans.
2 for 1 trade. Sino blinks in. He wants more.
Finds nearly the third, and Paul will finish the job and is 6 kills up for the Tartarus Titans.
Finding Sino was really lucky. You know, he didn't have like the most gods practice at the time, but he's just a shot caller pretty much. So like he kind of fit in to where like Cyclone had like kind of left the team. He's a good substitution kind of.
We were struggling. Like, I mean, we changed to Stu, right? We're playing with Stu the entire phase, and then we lose layers. Sino comes in, and then it's like a whole nother dynamic, and like we have to kind of learn that.
I would say going into Worlds, the expectations were definitely high, especially playing like players like Paul. You know, they're always gonna try their best to win and stuff, and especially Aror. Whereas like, I'm not kidding, he's literally the most like genuine player I ever like played with ever, and like his attitude is just like crazy helpful.
Every year I look at it, I feel like I'm gonna win, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Like I'm always really confident that no matter what has happened in the regular season, like the team that I'm on is always gonna have a chance to win the whole thing.
That exact same spark that like the Scarabs had at the end of season 8, where it was just like they were winning, they were looking good, their drafts made sense, and then the confidence is there, like all the way up until finals where they just met this brick wall in the Kings. They just looked fantastic.
I'll say every win was exciting, of course, but like I don't know, I wouldn't say we expected to go to finals, but we definitely expected to play well and like just beat people. There was a point where I was like, I'm going to finals. Yeah, so game 5 against the Dragons, I was playing Danza and I literally had like the first 3 kills in the game. I was like, yeah, this is wraps. I was like, the game was literally it was literally unlosable for us at that point. And then they were just getting picked across the map as well. And they weren't playing too well. So I just knew at that point we were going to finals for sure. I would definitely say our mentality going into the finals day was definitely confidence. Like, we literally just beat the Leviathans and the Dragons, and I think we did it pretty like confidently, other than like a couple of games against the Dragons. And so we were definitely confident. And it was like a funny thing. I like messaged Harry like right as I joined the Titans. I was like, he like messaged me like nice team and stuff, and he said something about me getting second place. I was like, nah, we're gonna get first and you're gonna get second. So like it was funny because like we ended up in finals together. It was pretty cool.
They've done it! The Camelot Kings, after one more fight, they'll get the ring for Twig, untouched, unscathed, bow down to your kings, the Camelot Kings, champions of the world!
I think it was kind of unlucky, but no one was like too beat down about it because we had literally just went through like, well, not me, I wasn't included, but they had literally went through like kind of like roster changes that they didn't even want to go through, kind of, in my opinion. And so to get like second place after all that, I think I'm pretty sure they're happy, and I was pretty happy with it as well. It does suck losing like in finals, but at least we made it, I guess.
There was talks between, I think Slaney had messaged me saying we should run it back again. And then I talked to Stu, he was just asking like what my plans were. And then same with Sot. And I just told him I don't know yet, and I'll let you know like if once I do know.
So roster talks after Worlds, I didn't really talk to, I talked to Sada a little bit. I talked to Aror, but he wanted to like wait because he always does a thing where he waits after Worlds to like think about roster stuff, so, and it's understandable. But I didn't talk to Paul or Sina, but I kind of just knew a little bit that Sina or Cyclone would be coming back, and that Aror was one of the players that didn't want to kick him originally.
Like I feel like a lot of things got decided like right away for teams, which is fair because I feel like people like when it comes to playing, like you want to know if you're playing or not. So like you don't want to take a lot of time. But for me, like I like to take it from like a slower approach and like figure it out at my own pace.
I figured Stu was going to get on a roster. You know, he just had this miraculous world's run. So I didn't think that it was realistic for me to team with him. I think Stu's probably a top 4 ADC at the least in the league. So it was very, very surprising that he had to go through the plans.
I was a little surprised that I didn't get like a top 6 roster, but I mean, like it is what it is. I definitely think I'm better than some of the top 6 ADCs, but you know, it is what it is. I didn't get picked up. It is just have to play play-ins.
Even having an amazing run through the Season 9 World Championship with a second-place finish, Stuart could not secure a team that would auto-qualify him into the SPL for Season 10. Instead, in order to play for another year, he would have to fight for his spot in the SPL promotional tournament.
I think the Niflheim Wargs, the way they came together was just like what we thought was the best SPL players that weren't in the top 6 teams, basically.
The Wargs are the team not only just behind me, but the team that I think everybody was the most excited for coming into this. I remember our predictions graphic. Every single caster had the Wargs on that list, and it was just a matter of who was the other team.
So going into it, like the first couple of days of scrims, we were stomping people, and I was very confident, and the team environment is good. But like, I'm not kidding. Like the last 2 days of like scrims leading into the tournament, we literally lost like not even the last 2 days. It was like the last 4 days or something. We lost like 20 back-to-back scrims.
When we met Stu, I knew we were going to smoke them. We scrimmed them about 15 times, and they beat us once.
Going into it, we were always, we're always confident. You know, scrims don't like define too much. And then, on like finals day, we're like up 2-0. And I'm like, surely you just win, right?
For the most part, I knew we were making it the entire time. When we were down 2-0 to the Stu team, you got to have like that short reflection time. Like, this could maybe be it. We're down 2-0, but series isn't over. You got to put that out of your mind as quick as you can. Move on to the next game, because at the end of the day, they still need to win another game.
We go down 1. I'm like, hey, whiff. We surely win again. And then we go down 2-2, and I'm like, okay. And then it's like game 5, and I get Freya, and I'm like, surely we just win, and we lose.
The Titan is just dying. The Titan is just dying.
They're the bombs.
The Gilded Gladiators have reverse swept the Niflheim Wargs.
I was like kind of like upset a little bit, but I was like, it is what it is. We lost. They played better. Just gonna go to school, play SEC, maybe get picked up later on.
Yeah, no, I messaged him. I told him to just like keep going because you're definitely good enough to be an SPL. I literally told him that like I think I messaged him after they lost that you should just try to keep in high spirits. I don't remember exactly what I said to him, but I definitely told him that he's good enough to be SPL caliber easily, for sure.
I definitely thought I was talented enough to be in the SPL because I already thought I was, like, for example, better than like some of the top 6 teams. So I definitely thought I was comfortably like SPL level. So I wasn't like any rush though, to be honest. Like I was fine with playing SEC and going to school and just waiting for an offer like mid-season or something. Maybe roster shake up then, but I wasn't like in a hurry or anything.
When we got the notice that DMB was getting banned, we finished up the meeting and then we hopped into our own call with all the players and Kassir, and it took us maybe 90 seconds to say we were playing with Stu. It wasn't really a list. It wasn't a, what about this? It wasn't a, how about this guy? It was, Stu should be in the league and there's no one else out there that can compete with Stu, so.
And so, it's not without a bit of luck that Stu does find himself in the league, but he and the Gladiators still struggle to find their footing against the other SPL teams.
After a full phase with the Glads, I think, I wouldn't say we failed to play through me, but I just think we haven't like found sort of like an identity to whom we should play through, even though I think like that like playing through me would be like a good idea. We just haven't found like who we should play through, kind of.
I think it took a little bit of extra time than I expected. I think him and Snoopy kind of play like the same type of. They don't really calm a ton. They kind of just want to carry the fight. And there's some games where one of them's calming a lot, and the fight feels super smooth and really nice. And then there's another fight where neither of them are calming or saying anything, and the fight just is an absolute mess, and we just get stomped in it. But I mean, like I said, consistency is something we need to work on. But in those fights where it's good comms and we know who's everyone hitting, like the magic is there for us to be able to like put those together. So
Stuart's kind of meshed really well into the team. I wouldn't say he's so much of a shot caller, but he's vocal when he's really strong. He feels like he can run the game. He'll let us know what he wants to do. However, he's very much more laid back. He's focused on hitting his abilities, his auto attacks and everything.
I think the expectations that my teammates have for me is to be like obviously like probably like top 3 ADC, but I don't think I've been playing that well kind of, but I definitely think I can be there, so.
But for what we had to go through from this first phase, I mean, getting a couple wins feels pretty nice.
Oh, landfall misses. Scaredy takes down Yarksu, takes down Tings. Genetics and Captain Twig, they're the only ones for 24 seconds. Truly, the Gilded Gladiators who came into this set without a single win this season are about to dethrone the Camelot Kings. This was projected to be a win for the Kings, but the Gladiators have torn right through and have knocked down the world champion.
I gotta see the player boots. I knew there was gonna be a pop-off. The King Slayers are here.
Beating the Kings is really nice, you know, after like losing to them 3-0 in Worlds, I kind of just thought they had my number and thought I was never gonna beat them again. But it was really nice beating them. I think it definitely like uplifted the team morale a little bit. So it was a really nice one.
Basically, our last like 4 sets, maybe it was last like 5 sets. I think there's a lot of stuff we can gain from all those. But I think if we can have a good 2 weeks of scrims leading into Masters, leading into the playoffs and stuff like that, I think we can show up and we can do a lot.
I think playing against any of the SPL teams, I still would be really confident. I think a little less against Onis, but we won't play them for a minute. Overall, our team's improving really well, and I'm excited to play in Masters, show what we can do.
As long as we get like really good practice in, I do think I'm pretty confident in what we can do.
I think there's only one really good team in SMITE right now, and it's the Oni Warriors. I think every other team is just bad, and I think everyone's playing a really bad style of SMITE other than the Warriors. And maybe with a meta change, I'll change my tune, but in this current meta, as it currently stands, yeah, there's just one good team. So if we have a good 2 weeks of scrims, who knows, maybe we make it all the way, we end up beating the Warriors, or we face the Warriors and make some noise.
Aror's got to do a lot of work against all 5. He gets frozen in place. The Titan down a half. The wall to block off Aror. A quad root by him, but it's just not enough damage and just not enough defense. The Gilded Gladiators take the first set of the weekend.